Good evening. It is me again, Rose, and we are back with Touchstarved. Today, I'm going to do a little better, and I'm just going to get into it and not do all the extra stuff. I already have my earbuds connected. I am listening to the soundtrack, even though y'all sadly cannot. It is such an amazing soundtrack. We're going to load our previous save and just get started. Jump right in. I find myself standing in a narrow and rather gloomy alley. I pull the new cloak up over my nose, stepping over the contents of the empty chambered pots. Something weighs heavily inside one of my cloak's pockets. My purse. Every last coin that I'd scraped together for the journey to Iridia is still inside. The purse doesn't even look like it was opened. There were so few coins to begin with, they probably weren't worth stealing. I glanced back at the clinic's closed door. Curious didn't take any payment. He didn't even ask for a future favor. But he also said that in Iridia, secrets are power. Does he expect me to give mine up at some point? That's not exactly a comforting thought. Still, no matter why he did it, Curious gave me a second chance, and a lead on where I might find help. I better get going before he changes his mind. I squeeze out of the alley and into the crowded main street. The line outside of Curious's clinic stretches down the road. Two thin peddlers queue alongside weathered elders. If any place is in desperate need of a free clinic, it's this one. The cobblestones are treacherously rough underneath my feet, deep grooves worn beneath them by regular flooding and decades of hard use. I knew Iridia was a river city, but I didn't expect it to look so eroded. The buildings are tired and dilapidated, all crammed together in narrow streets. A child darts by, clutching something greasy wrapped in paper. The smell of fried foods drift over me, and my stomach gives a faint gurgle. This morning's catch! Fresh, fried up, hot and fresh. Not too many eyeballs today. That sounds disgusting, but I'm starving, so I duck my head under the stall's grubby awning. A large fish leers up at me, its three bulging eyes still visible through the thick layer of crispy batter. The vendor gives me a gap-toothed grin. What's the cheapest thing you've got? The vendor points at a metal basket of what looks like long strips of savory fried dough. Fresh, long lads, 3 copper apiece. Don't burn your mouth. I take the coins out, counting them gingerly. At this rate, I might not even have enough to be able to afford dinner. Reluctantly, I drop the payment on the counter and take my meal. 2 streets later, I pass under a wrought iron archway, adorned with dangling garlands of red and pink lilies. The buildings in this quarter are dizzying, riot of color, painted walls and tinted glass everywhere I look. Sheer red and pink curtains flutter in open doorways, musical voices call out invitingly, and incense mingles with the pungent scent of flowers, barely covering the salt and musk of warm bodies. This must be Iridia's entertainment district. I'm polishing off my food and dusting the crumbs from my hands when I spot a poster. It features the silhouette of a smiling man wearing a single dagger-like earring and the words, "The Adderstone," printed above his head. I pause before the poster. What a curious choice of name, a semi-precious mineral that draws out poison. If Leander isn't of the Adderstone, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. Is the leader of the Adderstone, then the face printed on the poster is likely his. I follow the line of identical posters around a corner and nearly hit my head on a precariously dangling wooden sign. Looking up, faded orange letters read, "The Wet Wick." The facade of the building looks like it's seen better days, but I hear faint music and laughter coming from inside. We step inside. It's not even midday, yet the wick is packed. A loose collection of Viridians crowd the bar, taking up the tables and gathering in the spaces in between. They speak amongst each other in hushed voices, their faces drawn and grave. A cursory glance doesn't turn up anyone with a dagger-shaped earring, and I'm considering searching the bar when a loud voice carries across the room. Now, I'm no I don't know that word. Or curator. I'm not much for paperwork or pencil pushing, and honestly, I don't even think those robes come in my size. I crane my neck, but the crowd is too dense for me to see the speaker. Gather around. I want to show y'all all something. There's no time to move out of the way. The audience surges towards the center of the room in a sudden torrent. I'm caught and swept along with them. Hey! The clatter of the falling chairs and tables being shoved aside drowns out my complaints. I thrash and throw my elbows as heavy bodies press into mine. My hip knocks into a table. I grip it, holding on tight to steady myself, but the crowd has stilled. A pair of gilded boots stride across the tabletop. If you want nothing but guidelines and practical policies and needless bureaucracy, you know where to go. I drag my eyes upward. A man towers on the table in front of me, arms spread as he addresses his rapt audience. But I'm not going to wait for a word. I'm not going to wait for word from on high. His impassioned words provoke nods and excited whispers. But nothing is as captivating as his brilliant smile. He beams at the crowd around him, a performer on his makeshift stage. And unlike these clerics, I don't need the abbess's approval to cast a spell or two. And he raises his hands above the audience. The dagger-shaped earring dangling from his left ear catches the light in a flash of gold. It seems I've found Leander. These are our streets. We make our own luck here. He snaps, and a flash of pale green light erupts from his hand. With a flick of his wrist, Leander conjures a ribbon of glittering light. A delicate flower stem sprouts from beneath his pinched fingers. One by one, glowing lily petals unfurl. Leander raises the flowers with a flourish, and the bar bursts into clapping and cheers. My mouth hangs open. It's not just on account of the impressive performance. There was no incantation, no spell circle. I've never seen such a beautiful and intricate spell cast so effortlessly. With skills like that, it's no wonder Kira sent me here. Leander plucks the shimmering flowers out of the air and turns in a slow circle. Now, who could use some good luck? Eager onlookers scoot closer to the table, but Leander's cool green eyes slide right over them and lock on me instead. How about you? My chest grows tight. Suddenly, I'm in the spotlight. Take the flowers. I reach out and take the flowers from him, all too aware of my trembling fingers. There's no weight to them, only a faint warmth that radiates from the stems. As soon as the lilies leave Leander's hand, they dim and they fade away in a shower of opalescent light. To my surprise, Leander laughs under his breath. That's the problem with the flowers. They don't last long, but they leave an impression, right? He grins at me, and I find myself smiling back. Leander steps off the table, dropping among the excited crowd with a clank. All right, show's over. Back to work, everyone. The audience disperses, and Leander heads towards the bar. Now's my chance. I start after him, only to find myself face to face with one of his followers. Where do you think you're going? I need to talk to Leander. Uh-huh, you and half of Lowtown. Leander's busy right now, out of stone business. Come back tonight. After the moment we shared, surely Leander can spare a word. But the follower crosses her arms, unmoved. I glance over her shoulder, hoping to catch a glimpse of Leander. As though he senses my gaze, he looks up, and for a moment our eyes lock. Then, Leander turns away to murmur something to the group gathered around him. The follower moves to block my view. You hear me? I'm not looking for trouble. This Dr. Cura said I should find Leander. That's... She's interrupted by a hand resting on her shoulder. Cura sent you. He said you could help me. Leander nods at the woman, and she steps aside wordlessly. Follow me. He leads me to the crowded bar. There's so little room that his broad shoulders press against mine. I tense, but he doesn't seem to mind at all. Sorry about that. The Adderstone watch out for one another, but they can be overprotective at times. Lesson learned. Leander flashes me a broad grin. You're new to Iridia, aren't you? He says it with a genuine air of curiosity. Do I stick out that much? No, but I'm certain I'd remember seeing a face as lovely as yours around Lowtown. My eyes drop to the polished countertop. I'm not used to flattery, and being this close makes eye contact difficult. As if on cue, the bartender approaches us. What'll it be? Surprise me and add anything my friend wants to my tab. I'll have what he's having. While the bartender leaves to fix our drinks, Leander leans his elbows on the counter. His sleeves ride up, revealing a long raised scar. I catch myself following its winding path across his forearm. Leander's eyes wander over me in return. When they lock on my bandaged hands, a bitter taste rises in my mouth. Here come the questions. Is there any chance Kira sent you here for cheap drinks or barely edible appetizers? No. He pushes his hair back from his forehead, sighing when it immediately falls back into place. That's the doctor for you. Always business. I'm not sure he even knows how to relax. The bartender returns with a pair of glasses. I raise mine and give it an experimental sniff. It smells faintly yeasty, like beer but with an undercurrent that I can't quite place. A quick sip confirms my worst suspicion. It's awful. Briny and sour with a distinct hint of pickle flavoring. Now, personally, I love pickles. I'd probably really like it, but whatever. Whatever. Beside me, Leander takes a deep swig from his glass. So how can I help you? I need to get to the cenobium. As soon as the word cenobium leaves my mouth, the group standing nearby falls silent. From the wary looks thrown my way, it's clear I've broken some taboo. Ah, it had to be the cenobium. Leander pushes away from the counter. Let's continue this conversation outside. I rise to follow him. Leander leads me in an alleyway, tucked behind the Wet Wick. Layer upon layer of fried and faded Adderstone posters plaster the wall. Seeing them side by side, the resemblance between Leander and his printed likeness is impressive, if abstract. Curious didn't send you here to ask for a personal escort to the cenobium, did he? From his tone, he already knows the answer. No, he suggested that I reconsider. Yet, here you are asking about a guide anyway. He looks at me, expectantly. I don't want to tell him about my curse. The less people know about my monstrous capabilities, the better. Thankfully, Leander takes my reluctant silence as an answer. Are you aware of Iridia's particular currency? Information's worth its weight in gold here. I don't much care for outdated traditions, so I'll be completely honest. The cenobium won't help you. They're more likely to torture you than lend you a hand. Torture? My teacher never described anything like that. But the cenobium's supposed to be a place of learning. A sanctuary. The cenobium has always been heralded as the last bastion of human knowledge, a shining beacon of hope in a fading world. If any place held answers, it would be the cenobium. That's why I came here. Leander nods patiently. You're not the first person to fall for their propaganda. I grew up idolizing the cenobium. I wanted nothing more than join their ranks to learn magic from the best, to make a real difference. I was young and blinded by the legends and the legacy. I was so damn naive. He shakes his head. All it took was one trip here to Lowtown to show me the truth. Unless you've got heavy purse or high-born blood, the cenobium doesn't give a damn. They'll never open their gates for the ones who need help the most. Then it's all a lie. Things that seem to be too good to be true are often just that. Such a simple statement, and yet it leaves me reeling. Leander watches me through weighing something in his mind. But that doesn't mean you're hopeless. Far from it. I founded the Adderstone to help people like you. We've settled disputes, lay feral soulless. Hell, we've even been known to patch a leaky roof or two. Whatever troubles you, we can help, free of charge. I'm shaking my head before he's even finished his speech. My patience is wearing dangerously thin. I appreciate the offer, but my problem can't be solved by a group of good Samaritans. To my chagrin, Leander doesn't look remotely surprised. Then you're looking for help with something serious, something not even Curious could crack. Must be a truly remarkable problem if you came all the way to Iridia searching for help. Tell me, how can I help you? Leander may not work for the Cenobium, but if his demonstration was any indication that he's even stronger than the mage who raised me, she couldn't do anything about my curse, but maybe. Indecision gnaws at me. I don't know if I can trust him, but it's not like I have any alternatives. I hate to admit it, but this might be my only path forward. My confession comes out in a strained whisper. I'm cursed. He looks me up and down, taking in my face, my eyes, and finally my hands. Is that why you bandage your hands? My touch is dangerous. It changes people. It hurts them. Before I've even finished, Leander pulls his left glove off. He flexes his fingers and grins. All right, let's see it. As he offers me his hand, a prismatic flash of magic ripples across his palm. An enchantment for protection, but I'm already shrinking backwards. I can't. I don't care how confident Leander is, I won't allow myself to hurt him. To see his kind face unrecognizably warped. I don't want to hurt you. I'll be fine, trust me. I've seen enough curses and hexes to last me 2 lifetimes, but I'm still standing. Do you really think Curious would send you here if I couldn't handle it? How should I know? I've only met him today. I'm twice as good as any Cenobian mage. If anyone can help you, it's me. You don't know what you're asking me. I'm asking you to trust me. I look from Leander's outstretched hand to his confident smile. Then I begin unwinding the bandages from my hand. If you lose control, don't say I didn't warn you. You can tie me up first if it makes you feel better. His attempt at levity does little to comfort me. With each joint I expose, I grow increasingly certain that this is a terrible idea. But if he's bothered by how my hands look, he doesn't show it. All right, deep breath, on my count. My fingers hover shakily over Leander's palm. 3, 2, 1. Touch him. I tap his palm once, as quickly as possible. It's barely more than a brush, but that's all it ever takes. Heart racing, my eyes dart to his face, but Leander only smiles gently. See? It can't be. When I reach for his palm again, Leander catches my wrist before I can pull back. I told you there's really nothing to worry about. He trails off when my thumb grazes the soft skin of his inner wrist. I search Leander's face for traces of madness, but his eyes remain a clear, soft green. Neither of us speak as I trace the contours of his palm, lost in an awareness I wasn't anticipating. It's not as though I've never touched before. My curse only extends to my hands, and desperation spurs creativity. But all that pales in comparison to this. I've never experienced such intimacy. My fingers, long deprived of years of bandaging, picked up every single detail. The grooves along his palm, the smooth shell of his nails, the bones in his wrist. For as long as I've lived, I've never been able to hold someone's hand without dire consequences. I never realized what I was missing. While Leander's pulse is steady, mine hammers as fear gives way to excitement. Keep touching him. My hand glides over Leander's wrist and up his arm where smooth skin abruptly gives way to a raised scar. It matches the one that runs from his collar to his cheekbone. Could it be the same wound? When I glance at Leander's face, his lips part as he considers his words. Am I the first person you've been able to touch like this? My hand goes still on his arm. So far. Then, is it everything you wanted? When I nod, Leander turns my hand into his to inspect the gleaming fissures cross-working my knuckles. There's no revulsion in his face, no fear. He looks up at me and grins. It's not every day that I meet someone as enticing as gold. He winks and lets me go. I draw my hand back and take a steadying breath. My hand feels like it's stuffed with cotton. Habit alone guides me through the motions of rewrapping my hand, although my fingers tremble too much for the bandages to lie flat. I can't believe that worked. I've really forgotten my manners. May I ask your name? I'm Rose. Rose, this curse of yours is unlike anything I've seen before. I can tell you're careful, but It's best you keep this between us. Are you staying in Lowtown? I pause. Room and board was something I'd yet to consider. I don't know. Let's get you properly settled then. The Wick is noticeably quieter without their leader. Most of Leander's followers are dispersed, or in a few cases, fallen asleep beside their drinks. Got any rooms left, or did my lot grab all of them to sleep it off? The bartender, who I now realize doubles as the innkeeper, slides a key onto the counter. The usual room? Leander's laugh sounds slightly strained. No, not today. This is just for my friend Rose. Right. Stay as long as you like. You two have fun. Have fun? Leander clears his throat, then holds the key out to me. I hesitate. My corn purse barely holds enough for a day's worth of meal, let alone a room. How much do I owe you? Nothing. My treat, since you shared your secret. Food, drink, a warm bed, anything you need. Carefully, I take the key from him. It's small but heavy in my palm. I never expected to have a warm bed in Iridia, let alone free meals. Thank you. Iridia is twice as dangerous as it is wondrous. Be careful out there. And if you need a reprieve from what haunts you, come find me. I nod, taking one last look at the gleaming bronze key before tucking it into the pocket of my cloak for safekeeping. Leander gives me a friendly wave before returning to the bar. Dust glitters in the sparse rays of light illuminating the room. The furniture is tired, the walls cracked, and a large, lumpy bed serves as the centerpiece. I can't remember the last time I slept in a bed. I'd never imagined I'd sleep in one tonight. When I collapse onto the bed, the springs let out shrill squeaks. Finally, I can allow myself to rest. I love the windows over there. I love all of the art in this game. It's so beautiful. My eyes fall shut before long. I wake to pale sunlight flittering through the narrow windows. Despite the clamor of the tavern below, the precious hours of rest have restored my strength and gifted me with a flicker of cautious optimism. If I play my cards right, today could be the day I get closer to finding a cure. I quietly head out of the Wet Wick. The air clings, sodden with heavy and lingering scents of rain. Without the afternoon crowd, the district looks barren and bleak. And here, just outside of the Wet Wick, is where I shall leave it for tonight. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.